Hi, this is a tutorial for Dan Fogelberg's song Longer. Um, I just learned to play this the last week. I've been listening to it for 50 years, but I just learned to play it last week. So I'm not really good at playing it, but I do know what I'm doing here a little bit, so I can teach it to other people. So first thing you need to do with this is drop it down to open G tuning, which means you're going to take the E string and drop it down to D. You're going to take the A string, drop it down to G. The D, G, and B strings stay the same. You're not going to touch them. And then the E string gets dropped down to D. Okay? It should be right there on the screen. And then, so when you strum, it's an open G chord. We will not, on this song, be using this E string at all. It doesn't come into play. So you could be like Keith Richards and just take it off and play 5 strings on your guitar. So all the bass notes and all the chords are going to start with the A string. Okay, so that's where your thumb is going to kind of rest and play. All right, so the first chord is just this open D. And if you strum it, it sounds like that. Remember, we're starting at the A string. When it's picked for the song, it sounds like this. Okay? Easy enough. And I'll tell you about the picking in a little bit, so just hang tight. The second chord is if you make an E chord, normal E chord. If you don't know how to make a normal E chord, stop trying to play this song. I'm assuming everybody knows how to make an E chord. Take your index finger and take it off of that G string, move it down 1 string to the B string. Okay, 1st fret B string. I don't know if you can see that. But it's a normal E chord. You know, my 2 fingers are here. But rather than up here, you're just dropping it down to the B string. And when you strum it, it's going to sound like this. When you pick it for the song, it's going to sound like this. Okay, so far we've got starting to sound like something, right? Okay. The third chord, easiest in the world, you're keeping that same shape and just moving it up 2 frets. You pick it, it sounds like this. Right? So far, here's what we got. Almost sounds like longer, doesn't it? The fourth, we're simply moving really that same shape up 1 fret so that your middle finger and your ring finger are now on the 5th fret. You're not going to need your index finger for this one. You can pull it off or leave it on, whatever you want, because what you're going to do is sneak your pinky down there on the B string. Okay? So B string, 5th fret, right there is where your pinky's going to go. So you're right here and your pinky sneaks in right there. Okay? So it's really like an E minor chord, right? And then your pinky, E minor chord shape, and then your pinky is on the B string on the same fret. And picked, it's going to sound like this. Okay, so here's what we got so far. About the picking, we'll get to that in a minute. He plays that progression 3 times, okay, on the introduction, and then he starts singing on the 4th one. On the 2nd one, he adds a little cutesy thing that I'll show you, but he doesn't do it on the 1st, and he doesn't do it on the 3rd. And to the best of my knowledge, he doesn't do it anywhere else in the whole song. He may, but I don't hear it. Some of you may hear it, and if you do, go ahead and play it. But it goes like this. So let me play all 3 rounds here for the intro, and you'll hear what I mean by the 2nd time around. He does a little thing that mimics the vocal. So he plays. Now back to the beginning. we'll stop right there, and let me show you what that is. The second time we're going, and then do, 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 do. So the way I play that is, remember, we're at this kind of E shape. My ring and middle fingers are now on the 4th fret. So I'm playing that B string, right, with my index finger. As I'm playing the chord, I'm grabbing, and then with my pinky down up to the 5th fret, then up to the 7th, and then the next note is on the E string at the 5th fret. Okay, so it's okay, but when I end that, I turn that into a chord, and so does he. And the way that I play that chord, I assume it's the way he did it, is you just bar all the way across. So it's, and then you can pick it out, and then you go back to the. Okay, and then there's a turnaround, and we'll get to that in a minute. Which is a little bit tricky. It's probably the trickiest part of the song. But it's short, and it sounds really cool when you get it. So, all right, so picking. The picking on this song is really simple. At least the way I do it is really simple. For the first chord, anytime you play that open chord, I start with my thumb on the A string and my index finger on the E string, and I play them both at the same time, and then with my thumb I continue 2 more strings, okay, and then I go with my index finger back to that E. So I'm going, okay, so it's thumb A string, index finger E string, same time, thumb on the D, thumb on the G, and then index on the E string. Okay? Now, when I play that very first note, I intentionally, I think he did, at least it sounds right, rather than just playing the 2 notes, like that, I let my index finger kind of brush both the E string and the B string, because I think it sounds more like the record. So I'm doing that. I'm actually playing 3 notes at the same time because my index finger is playing that E and then also brushing the B. I'm not just going, I'm playing. So it's brushing both. And at the same time I'm playing with my thumb on the A. Okay? So that's only that open chord. All the other chords, in fact, I think all the other chords in the song, instead of going out to this E, you're gonna start picking from the B string. So when I get to this one, right, the second chord, I'm not going out to the E string. I'm going to the B string, and so it's. But my thumb's gonna do the same thing. The whole rest of the pick is identical, except rather than starting on the E string, now you're just starting on the B string. So you're going thumb and B string at the same time, okay? And then brushing the next up string, which in this case would be the G. And then with the thumb, go D, G, and then finish with your index finger picking the E. I hope this isn't too complicated. Maybe I'm not explaining it right, but in my mind, it seems to make sense. So for the open one, you're starting way out here on the E string. Then for all the other chords in the song, you're not going out to that E string, you're just going to that B string. So for each of those, I am just grabbing the B string and the A string, and I'm brushing the G string with my index finger as I come off of the B string. So I'm doing that. and then come down with my thumb. 2 strings, pull up with my index finger on E. So you are always playing that E string as the last string in each chord, okay? So for all 3 of those, this, and this, I'm picking it exactly the same way. If you miss and you hit the E string instead of the B string, it really doesn't matter because it's all in the chord anyway. It's not the end of the world. So, in fact, a lot of times when I'm way up here and I come back down to the original open string, I forget to go get the E and I just hit the B instead. It's not the end of the world. It should be. But sometimes I go. All right, so that's what we have so far. Practice that over and over and over again. It's not really that hard. You'll get the hang of it. See, I missed it that time. And now we're gonna have a little, I guess, turnaround or whatever that finishes up the phrase, and it goes. I love that part. I think it sounds really cool. So, okay, so the next part, the little turnaround thingy, which is really cool, sounds like this. Okay. And basically what that is you're playing, the notes you're playing are on the melody notes are on the B string, 1st fret, 3rd fret, and then also G, 3rd fret, okay? And you're going to be doing that with your pinky. So if you watch what I'm doing, I'm playing the bass with my with my ring finger. And so this is just like, what we're making here is essentially a C chord shape, but I'm taking my middle finger off. You're not going to use your middle finger there. So once you have this shape like this, B string, 1st fret, A string, 3rd fret. Now you're going to play your schmaz down here with your pinky on the B string and then on the G string, okay? So it goes, sorry, it goes. So that's hammer on the B from 1 to 3, and then G string 3, and then back to B string 1. And you're playing the bass with your thumb on the A string. And I'm just plucking both the B and the G string with my index finger. Sorry. Okay. Now, once you get that down, practice that. And then immediately you're dropping, the bass note is going to walk down 1 step, actually a half step, but 1 fret. And then you're going to kind of arpeggiate that. So it's close to our original 2nd shape, but and then you're going to hammer on the G string with your ring finger on the 2nd fret. That, okay? So it's... So it's... And now you're going to finish that chord. It's your original open chord. And then end with the B. And now the cool little part. And all that is, at the end, is an A minor 7th shape, right? And I'm, again, plucking the A string with my thumb, but I'm kind of dragging it and hitting the D string too. So I'm playing them both at the same time. And of course, with my index finger, I'm plucking the B string. I hit the G string with my index after I play the B string. And then you just play that exact same thing 2 frets up. You slide it up. So the whole thing all together is... On to the next segment. Okay, now the bridge. And the bridge is really simple, at least simple to explain. It's the part that goes... get to the tail end of that. I missed a few notes there, but that's basically it. It's pretty simple. You're up on the 5th fret, barring across, and you're just playing, again, like you were before. You're playing that A minor 7th shape. So you bar across, A minor 7th, and the picking pattern's exactly the same as the other chords. So it's... okay? And then just leave it as, open it up to just the bar going straight across. So you're doing the same thing. Okay. And then you just drop it down 2 frets for the next part. So it goes... and back up. Okay, now here's the tail end of that bridge, okay? It sounds something like this. And then a flugelhorn goes do-do-do-do-do-do. Then we're back into the thing. So how do you play this? It's kind of simple, but you're going to have to use 3 fingers now for the first time and only time. Thumb on the D string, index finger on the G, and then your middle finger on the E string. And so we're walking down from 5th, we're on the walking down on the D string from 5th fret, 4th fret, 3rd fret, then back up to the 4th. So, and then we're plucking each of our strings as we go. So it's D, G, E, G. Now we're going down to the 4th fret for the D. D, G, E, G, 3rd fret. D, G, E, G, and then back up to the 4th. D, G, E, G. Okay. Okay, work on that part. But when he goes into the bridge, and also this is the way he ends the song, he comes out of this and then just plays that arpeggiated G all the way across, and then goes up to the 5th fret on the E string, okay, to complete that chord. And that's where he goes into... so rather than... Okay, so he's going. Okay, that leads into the bridge, and also at the very end of the song, because he repeats "I'll be in love with," or "I am in love with you" over and over again. So he does that, I think, 3 times. So it's okay. That's the song. That's as much as I know about it, anyway. Hopefully this helps. Leave some comments. Maybe somewhere along here I'll have a link to my YouTube page where I've got all kinds of songs I've done. I don't make any money. I don't do anything. I'm not very good at any of this, but I record all these songs and nobody goes to my YouTube page and watches them. So I'll put a little link here, so if you want to go see. I've done a bunch of songs. I've done a lot of Eagles songs, a bunch of Beatles songs, and some of them came out pretty well. So I play all the instruments myself, so it's kind of different parts. But anyhow, hope you enjoyed this, and hope it helped.